Welcome to the first ever official episode of ProCoach Radio. We've said we have said we'd do this for about 18 months. and now we're finally here. So I'm joined by two of my exceptional colleagues, Ross and Zach. For any children that are listening or anyone below the age of 18, this is an age rating of 18 podcast whenever Zach is present. So just a forewarning that there may be quite a lot of F-bombs in this podcast to start. Do you want to open with anything, Zach?
Now I'm fucking trying not to fucking...
We actually had a conversation the other day about Zach's Instagram traction was reducing because we're pretty sure he's being shadow banned at the moment for the prolific swearing that goes on social media every single day.
Yeah, and rather than stop, he's decided to hide it and just not using the letter U.
I tried. Yeah.
You showed him, Zach. You showed him.
I tried using that fucking bleep thing, but it bleeps after I've said it.
Yeah, it doesn't work. Ross, what's going on, mate?
Nothing too much, man. So I just moved into a new place there the other week. So that has been mental trying to get ready to get that sorted and then trying to balance everything else on top of it. But we're settled in now. Obviously, season is picking up. Majority of athletes starting to crack in their diets now over the course of the next kind of 4 or 5 weeks. So it's all starting to pick up now. It's exciting as well because obviously last year was like my kind of rookie season, if you will. I guess you would kind of call it that in the UK coaching space. So I kind of feel a lot more ready to kind of go at it without the idea of it being my first time, kind of in the back of my head. So just looking forward to just kind of giving it everything. So now, man, I'm excited. It's gonna be cool.
Yeah, I think that leads us on to the kind of topics and the agenda for the podcast. I think obviously we're going to get guest speakers on. We're going to get people that we know in the industry. I think Tom Hames is going to come on next week, and I think he'll be a relatively regular part of that, alongside guys that we're colleagues with and we coach with show to show. But I think one of the things that we can gain real value from in this is not so much the kind of crazy detailed science of like hammering your brain with knowledge bombs. There'll be elements of that in process, but it's the applicable stuff that you can listen to, slap this on for half an hour. And this is coaches who are in the trenches doing the do on a day-to-day basis and a week-to-week basis, flying across the world, peaking athletes, coaching athletes to stage and being successful on that competitive level. And it's an insight into that process. It's an insight into what's happening from a weekend to weekend perspective across the season for 2023 and moving forwards. And I think it will give another dynamic to kind of content in terms of like the prep coaching scene. You don't really see much especially in the UK, probably a little bit more across in the States, maybe via YouTube and platforms like that. But you don't really see much in the UK talking about stuff, especially on an amateur level, stuff that's going on week to week and what's happening on that scene.
Yeah, for sure. Jason, that was like the best summation of what this is supposed to be.
I nailed that.
That was good. That was good. 100%. That was good. Yeah, I think I'd say anyone who's watching this and probably hears myself and yourself's voice on it anyway at the same time, Carl probably is immediately thrown back to the muscle mentors days. I think it's worth saying it's not really going to be like that. Obviously, we're all still like pretty enveloped in the education space, but I think we wanted to just make this about bodybuilding. I think that was really a general kind of idea of what we wanted to do. So it's going to be sick, man. It's going to be enjoyable.
100%. So first up, year-wise, this year we've got, what's the first show in the UK? 25th of March.
25th of March.
Yeah.
The 10X.
Ben Wheeler straight after, isn't it?
Yeah.
On like 2 weeks after.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then it's the Sweden show I think they've moved the Sweden show to the 22nd, no?
Yeah, I think I've moved it back a little bit, which is actually a little bit better because it doesn't go over the Ireland showdown as well, which I was kind of torn because I think originally it was like the 14th or something? It was something like, I don't know, I could be totally wrong, but it was cutting it close with the show back home. So I'm glad they spaced it out a little bit.
What date is the Ireland show?
13th of May.
13th. Right, okay. They've got a regional now. They've got a regional the week before, haven't they, as well?
Not that I know of.
Or is that not go ahead now? I heard
definitely not. Now there is going to be an Ian Constable shaped Dickie Bird. I was talking to him the other day, and supposedly there's going to be something happening on my side of the world now as of 2024. So that's about as far as we'll get it. So that's going to start going over there, because even as a slightly off tangent topic, the Irish bodybuilding scene has been a little bit slower to pick up over the past couple of years, and I think it's the lack of NPC presence over there.
Yeah.
That really kind of pushes it back a little bit more. So I think kind of getting 2 bros stationed over there to some capacity, I think is just NPC in general. Hopefully 2 bros, it'll be a really big thing for the country in bodybuilding. So I'm looking forward to it, which is going to be cool. And then obviously the Ireland show in May is going to be cool to go back home. And again, it's also Yemi's first shot at the Olympic qualification this year, so that's going to be cool to go back and do it then.
Yeah. Are you still exempt for doing a regional then in Ireland, or yeah, until there's a regional show?
Yeah, exactly. So until there's a regional show in the country, you can just kind of go ahead. Because a lot of people have been messaging, because Ireland's like a weird one, you know, but it's close enough that do I have to do a regional anyway, but you don't. So anyone is at home watching this, you don't need to do a regional to go and do a pro qualifier, but you probably should. I think that's probably that you probably should. Like if you're, especially back home, you know, like if you're like you've never done an NPC show, or you're jumping straight into the season and something like the Ben Weeder, you want to get your feet wet a little bit first. So do your regional. Don't pass off a regional just because you don't have to do one. It's a 40-minute flight. You don't really have much of an excuse.
Yeah. I think that's why you kind of you iron out your process from a coaching perspective as well. That regional gives you the first kind of shot at the target there in regards to gathering data and refining your process for the bigger show, right?
Exactly. And if it's not, you can't just peek yourself into a Sunday morning, in Dublin. You have to go and do something with it, 100% go and make sure you get your regionals done.
Yeah. What have we got then for the 25th of March? What have you all got in terms of classes and clients?
25th of March, I think I have one. Dom is going to be kicking off a season, I think, at that point. That's a big question mark, because if with anyone, like, it's about going in there and being able to kind of get yourself a vote of confidence, that kind of way as well. So it'll either be 25th of March or it's likely to be 13th of May, and we'll know closer to the time whether to space it out or not. And if it's the case that we need to space it out, we'll just slow it down a touch and just coast him into the next show. But if he's going to be ready for March and he can qualify, do well, and get that vote of confidence he needs, it leaves every body qualifier across Europe open then from that point onwards, which is all.
What about you, Zach?
Men's physique and a classic guy. Got Ashley Kettle going again. Yeah, Ashley Kettle's going again, and Pod Hector, who has been with me for a while, but he's had some issues, some personal issues, and he's back at it now. So it'll be cool.
Not related to Mark Hector.
No, not related to Mark Hector.
Pity.
Need some of his genetics.
Pod's very, very good. Very classic.
Class?
Classic. Yeah, classic. Very, very good. But like I said, he's had some time off. But this is kind of for Pod. We've had the conversation a few times. It's just about him getting back on the stage after, because his last show was the British finals in about 3 years ago. About 3 years ago. But just getting him back on stage and starting him off again.
Nice.
And he'll do it depending on obviously how well he does. Again, making sure that you do a regional, because it is like a set point. But if he does well at the regional, he'll then go and do the Ben Weeder.
Yeah,
we'll assess when with what we've got at the regional.
Last time I saw Ash would have been Finland as well, wouldn't it?
Yes, when he looked fucking amazing then.
He was very good, mate. He was very good.
Looked amazing. I think he just come shy, didn't he? Come second.
That could have gone either way in my opinion.
When he came off stage, after obviously the first round, he's come off stage and he's texted me and he's like, I was center stage all the time, and I was like, mate, you fucking won your class then, dude. You won your fucking class. And then he's come back on about fucking 15 minutes later and says, I'll come second. I was like, fuck. Are you sure you were center?
It's that thing that now where like some of these NPC shows, they'll move people around and then the person who's winning isn't necessarily center anymore. So it's like,
it's funny though, we go to these shows and we've gone to hundreds of shows at this point, and like irrespective of it not necessarily being written in stone in terms of the best person being in the middle, we all just work off assumption for years on end. Most of the time we're right, but sometimes he's over there on the right hand side. It's one of those things that when it happens, you're like, can you be angry?
I remember the 2021 British finals when Connor did the middleweights. You know, the year that the big super heavyweight won. Connor did the middleweights, and like as soon as they came out, he moved. There was 4 of them. Connor was like center right, but they hadn't been moved. And then they started posing. They hit a front relaxed, a quarter turn, a rear relaxed. Quarter turned again, came to the front. Judge pulled Connor right to the left-hand side. And I was there like having a meltdown, like, what on earth has gone on? Like, he hasn't even hit a front double yet. Like, how has he been moved out? And then, like, you know, when you go into like cardiac arrest, when
man.
third, and then it's like second, and you're like, oh, okay. And then, he got that. But that was like, that was a lesson for me to be like, oh, don't take it from face value. And especially when you're an athlete on stage and your head falls off when you get called out, it's like, you know, you can either work your way back in, or you don't need to make an assumption, and that's you out of the race then.
Yeah. I think it's good that we learn as well, because as the coaches, if you're there on the day as well, your client's looking at you. Your client's looking at you on when he's on stage. If he sees you respond like what the fuck, he's like, oh fuck, what's going on there? He puts his confidence down as well.
You have to keep your cool. That's one thing that I wasn't in the earlier stages. I wasn't good at that. Remember some of the shows. Well, I remember particularly when Grace was competing as well. Obviously, I don't go.
I remember.
I was fucking terrible, lads.
I was like, Ross, calm down. Ross, calm down.
Screaming the whole break down. There's about 11 people there because it's bikini, and everyone's just collapsed on the fucking back there. Screaming the gap out of it because I can't get anyone's attention.
I think there was a point. This was one of the most tense moments of 2022, where there was a point it was the Texas show with Valentin. And it was Valentin and Courage first and second, and the whole audience was like dead quiet. And they called Valentin second, and Ross just went, "Oh, fuck off!" as loud as he could.
Fucking hell.
Oh man, so bad. Because usually when somebody gets called for second, you're expecting everyone to go like some kind of reaction, but nobody spoke except me. So I was like, "Fuck off!" the height of my voice, and the whole time I remember Cal had this like falcon grip on my knee. You know? I was like, Jesus. Oh, so good, man.
For me, I've just got Matt in Classic, Straker, Sheridan, Alex in MP, I think, as of now. And Connor's doing, obviously, we'll be in light heavies.
Just those few, so.
It's going to be a good year for Connor.
Yeah. Yes, mate. He's made a lot of improvement again. His body's moving quick, mate. Like he's been dropping the first 2 weeks. I think he dropped 5 pounds both weeks, 10 pounds off in the first 2 weeks. So I've had to. I think it was Tuesday this week. I had to give him a high day straight up, just because it was just hemorrhaging weight quickly. So just gonna be a case of controlling that rate of loss. But then again, it's like we also did this. I think we fed too hard into stage when we'd found the look. We fed too hard into the stage last time we prepped, because in my opinion, the look we had in shreds like 2 days out when we were loading was better than the look we delivered on stage, because I just overcooked it moving on stage. We just tried to feed him too hard. But like we did the same thing last time, where it was like I let him drop to like a 2 pound new low and then just fed him back up again. And then it's like, right, repeat the process. 4 days later, 2 pound new low, feed him back up. It's just so simple. But it's also like for him, he's an athlete where it's like, if I give him like an off planner, if I give him a meal he can sit down and relax with, like you see an immediate benefit to that in terms of like quality of sleep, like where he is within himself in terms of prep management. Like it's a very, very consistent, predictable process with that setup. So we'll probably, follow a relatively similar groove this year. And then we got the pro show it's the same night, I presume, on the One Bro, which is the week after. Yeah. So the pro qualifier and the pro show in the evening, but I think it's just men's physique and bikini, isn't it?
Yeah. Is there a 212 pro show? So, sorry, that's True Athlete. Sorry, I
think it's True Athlete. Yeah,
I've seen that today.
Yeah. I think they've got all classes. They've got all classes at that True Athlete show.
Yeah, I think they're drip feeding it in for the great buzz. I think, which is cool.
And the venue looks sick as well. I don't know where
it looks so good, man.
On the next sale, but it looks massive as well.
Yeah, it looks so good, man. It looks so good. Because they obviously like the whole, if it's going to quote unquote replace the Arnolds, like, it has to be something that people are going to want to really go to. It's shaping up to be cool, man.
Yeah. Is it like a big expo as well?
Yeah. They're gonna. I think they're like, obviously it's it's first year, so like I think you're gonna struggle to match the kind of grandiose nature of the Arnolds. But I think they're putting a lot of time into it. I think they have like masters football at it, obviously with powerlifting, CrossFit, like all that stuff is going to be in it. But then obviously the bodybuilding setup looks really, really good. And hopefully they allow the amateurs to do that stage as well. That'd be cool.
Yeah, that was a nice surprise at the Arnold, wasn't it?
Yeah, we're all like, oh, right. Everyone going to the stage and they're like, go right. I was like, oh yeah, we do it that way. Like, go right.
So most of us knew, but everyone was
Yeah.
like, don't say anything.
Yeah. Oh. I remember that. That was crazy. That was a crazy few days.
Yeah.
For so long.
So we got 25th of March, Ben Weider, and then off to Sweden for the Gasp show.
Looking forward to that one.
It'll be very good. I've heard very good things with the show from last year. Obviously, Joe Ballinger went. I don't know who else went, but I didn't go to that one. But I've heard very good things in terms of how it's run and just the whole setup.
Yeah, I'm still 100% whether I can go to that because I've got Louis, the open guy, doing his pro qualifier in Australia, and I'm half thinking about going.
Mm.
We should go. All should go over. It'll be good.
Yeah, that'd be safe. The only thing that's the same weekend in Sweden.
Right.
Yeah, I'd love if we all went over, because Louis put the short little stint to be having. He's put a chunk of tissue on. So that's I'm messing around with that one now. So I'd love to go to the Sweden one, obviously, because we're all affiliated with Gasp as well. That's part of the reason I like to go, and plus it's not like a 2,000 fucking pound ticket to get there. But I'm gonna figure it out as well because I just need to see how it goes. But I would like to be there, to be honest with you. It looks cool because I know Don was thinking about doing that as well. So we're playing around with that as an idea, but I'll figure it out, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Everyone in the region will do the Ben Weider for you.
I've got, probably. I've got Mika doing. Well, she was going to do wellness, and then we swapped her back to figure this year. She's an absolute weapon, mate. She's from Birmingham. She's an absolute savage. Like, she's short, but like quad development, like when a figure goer hits like a front relax with both the hands on the hips and their quads just like stick on. It's wild, but it's wild in terms of muscle belly. She'll be doing hopefully, if everything moves smoothly, she'll be doing 25th and then Ben Weider. But I'm pretty sure, everyone will go across and do both shows. It's like a rite of passage, isn't it? It's like first regional, first pro qualifier just goes bounce on the trot. Swan. And then Gasp, I think I'll have whatever the verdict is. That Muscle Contest Ireland show is soon after, isn't it? So there'll be a lot that will go over and do the Muscle Contest show.
The Muscle Contest is before, no?
No, not Gasp, it's after, isn't it?
Oh, sorry, pardon me. Sorry.
I think it's like 2 weeks after. Muscle Contest.
Sorry, I'm mixing up April and May, pardon me.
All right, yeah. What area is it in? Limerick again? Limerick Uni?
Yeah, beautiful place, I swear.
The actual the stage and the venue wasn't actually that bad, to be fair.
I think because when I was there, it was in a different venue. Was it on in the? It's almost like the stage is like flat to the ground.
But there's it's like a little auditorium. So it's like
no, it is. That's where the Spring Classic is on as well, which is the IFBB Elite Show thing. Right. It is a good venue. It's easy to get there.
Like the lighting was decent. It was a big.
It's good. It is a good venue. It's better than the other one that was in. It wasn't a hotel one year and it was shy. But that'll be good. I'm looking forward to going back as well, man. So, I haven't been home. I haven't been in a bodybuilding show home in like 4 or 5 years.
Yeah,
because I just lost interest in the way that it's like their affiliation to the Elite Pro. I lost a little interest in it. So it's gonna be cool to go back.
Yeah, there's not as many opportunities, is there?
No, not at all.
On the topic of that, question was asked on Instagram. Yeah. What would you say are the key pillars of being ready to prep? Open to the floor. So if there's somebody right now that's like, right, I'm starting prep in March, or I'm starting prep in April, what ducks do they need to have in a row right now to be in a position where they're in an optimal place to start a contest prep, either for a first timer or an experience?
With their environment first, make sure they're ready. Everything around them's ready to rock, because especially if they're first timers, they're about to indulge in something that's a little bit different to what they've normally done before. But even seasoned athletes, just make sure that everything is around you that is going to allow you to do what you got to do, because early morning cardio, late cardio training on top of your daily work it's a lot of commitment, and just understand that if you're going to commit, you need to, you know, fully commit to it, because you don't want to go half-hearted and then get halfway through and be like, I can't fucking do this anymore. I just ain't got fucking enough time, or this is happening in my life, or this is happening in my life.
Yeah, it's a universal thing, though, isn't it? Like, even like the idea of environment, like, it doesn't even like mean like even like things like your financial environment. Preps are expensive, man. I can't tell you how many people have started the prep who couldn't finish it because they can't afford to.
Yep,
you know, and this isn't like a PED thing or anything. Prepping is an incredibly expensive thing to do. You know, like, so you have to have your ducks in a row there as well, because if you're getting to that arse end of prep, where unfortunately when you're feeling the worst, it tends to be the most expensive. You know, when you're getting to that arse end of prep, and then like you're dealing with all the kickback that comes with it, and then you're met with this not necessarily a bill, but a cost that needs to be put forward for you to kind of finish things in a successful fashion. It's a really hard thing to be met with if you don't have it ready, you know, and then that inevitably works against the luck. And then the money that you did spend, if it worked against the luck, has money gone wasted, you know. So just be financially ready to rock and roll as well when it comes to prepping as well.
Yeah.
I'd also say in terms of from a food nutrition standpoint, diet standpoint, that is to make sure that you've got at least 6 to 8 weeks behind you of knowing exactly what the fuck's been going on with everything at the minute. Don't just go into a prep off a wing of not fucking knowing what the fuck you've been doing with your diet, with your calories or anything like that. Just have that, gather that backload of data from, like I said, at least 6 to 8 weeks, knowing where you've been with food, so you know how to go into a prep. You know what it's like. Some people just start fucking prep on the back of not doing anything, not controlling everything. You just really don't know. The first 4 to 6 weeks of prep, you're almost guessing. You're almost guessing, what set point you have to be at to start making progress.
Yeah,
it's true.
You know what I mean? So just making sure that you've got that from a food diet. Just make sure you know what's been going in for the past 6 to 8 weeks and how you've been responding with it.
Have a plan.
Yeah.
Have a plan. We have something set, and like the timeline, create a timeline. And if you don't already have one, that's probably enough of a reason probably to make a pause in your prep and make sure you go through enough time to actually have one in the first place. Yeah. You know, and a timeline is like an open thing. You know, it's not necessarily like, okay, it needs to be on a sheet like the way that we do it. Like, just like have an idea of like everything that's going to be going on from that point onwards. Like, just understand what you need to do relative to the demand that's going to be placed on you at any point in time, whether you're seasoned or not. Like, if you're seasoned, you know what you're going to expect. If you're not as seasoned, then you need to kind of look forward to the idea that it's going to be pretty shit for a while. You know, get yourself literally timelined out, understand what different phases are going to look like, and learn about what a prep is going to like not only feel like, but actually look like, what actually happens. You know, have a plan.
Yeah. And that having a longer term plan and having that kind of macro thinking objectively, as opposed to just working on a reactive basis week to week, I think you're going to find more athletes moving into that pre-prep phase just in a more responsive state to actually get lean as well, in terms of like not getting to the point of prep where your peak off season and you're 40 pounds above stage weight, or you're whatever percent body fat and your food's crazy high, and then you expect to make one adjustment and suddenly start responding in a prep. Like, that first response could take weeks if you're that far away above your maintenance set point. And also, how many times have we seen clients, and, I'll hold my hand up. Like, I've had clients that, I prepped in the last couple of years where it's like, when you get them to the end of their prep and you're a couple of weeks out from the show, and you're like, they've got more to come off here, but they're not in a great place to take it off because they're so fatigued. It's like, you just started the prep with too much to come off relative to the time frame you budgeted.
Yeah, I agree.
Like, something I've done over this last off season is like taking people a little, like, obviously it's context dependent, but taking people a little bit slower out of that post-show gate and being a little bit stricter in terms of what I expect compositionally for them to hold on to. Like, whereas before I'd have been like, look, let's push your calories up, let's get you in a comfortable position. But like, if you get too carried away with that, like, you start to get to a point where that rate of gain just becomes unproductive, and then they're just carrying more than they need to in the next phase, and then it carries on into the next phase, and it carries on into prep, and then you suddenly find yourself in the same situation again. So we all know it from a more so like because of our like kind of coaching eye, but you can look at a physique on paper, you can look at a physique front to back, and you can say whether or not you're in a good place to prep, because I can see certain details, I can see certain levels of of condition already starting to, pre-exist, or you've held a couple of lines here and here from the off season, I know that you're going to get lean really efficiently here. And we also know the kind of clients that you look at it and you go, I'm not so sure about this. I'm not, that lower back's fucking rolling above the trunks, or they got no, relevance of detail in their abs, or their glutes are mega soft. It's like, that's not a 16-week process. That to get them in legit condition, like, we need to think this through, because if they're not ready to get lean, maybe we need to budget in a longer window of time as well.
Yeah, exactly. I think when you get to the more advanced stages, I think that becomes a little bit more of an idea. Like, most of the kind of higher level athletes that you end up working with, they tend, when they're at that higher level in the first place, to take less time between preps in the first place. So, like, really what you're trying to do is, like, you're trying to squeeze what you could do with somebody who's less experienced into maybe 2 years. You're trying to squeeze that into maybe 8.5 months, maybe. And the whole idea of that 8.5 months, and in any sense, the whole idea of bodybuilding in general, is to create the longest runway of progression that you possibly can. Like, and if you're not able to create that runway of progression because you just keep feeding yourself up and you get to a point that composition just isn't going to work at what you need to do, then you've already limited your capacity to make advantage of that really short time in the first place. So it's like just taking your time with the escalations as much as you can, and keeping an eye on it, and not just getting like almost trigger happy with calories.
Yeah. Greg has asked, what would you adjust first in a prep? Diet, output, or drugs? If they're enhanced, obviously they might not be enhanced.
That question again.
So what would you adjust in a prep first? Like, in a transitioning into a contest prep, what would you adjust first? Diet, training, or drugs? The first adjustment in terms of, like, right, do we have that slight manipulation in energy balance? Are you going to creep NEAT up a little bit? Like, where would your first move be there?
I find it's changed so much all the time. Like, it's never happened to set in stone. Like, I find this year, like, because I've taken people a little bit slower out the gate in terms of the off season, I find that just, like, because I know they're so close to that apex of the deficit in the first place, I know that if I just either just pull food or I manipulate cardio even a small bit, I know something is going to happen. Whatever I change, something is going to happen, as obvious as that might sound. And at least then, depending on what you do, let's say you adjust cardio and you see weight dramatically drop, which is unlikely for only making a small adjustment, but you pull food and it dramatically pulls down. You can kind of then attenuate just how much you're going to start taking off here. Kind of those minor adjustments allow you to know kind of the dexterity of what you're after doing. So I've found myself making smaller adjustments generally to output this year, but because I know they're so close to that apex of the deficit anyway, that just a small manipulation there is going to bring them back down. So it's context dependent, but that's what I found myself doing more often at the moment.
Yeah. What about you, Zach?
So I would prefer to move to do more output. I would. I'd expenditure wise, I'd probably move towards there. 9 times out of 10, that food. 9 times out of 10. I mean, it's a bit of a trick question, isn't it? Because you could fucking do the both.
Yeah, no, of course you could. I think it's just like, I think it depends.
Yeah, it's food and expense. PEDs is. I think you have to move that to a separate sort of topic with it, because I think PEDs, you'd again with the map that you've had, that's probably one of the main reasons for a map, right? Not just knowing when the guy's going to be or the girl's going to be competing or going to be off season, but also when they're going to be in super, when they're going to be in physiological, all that stuff. So PEDs is kind of by default. If you've just started prep, that's probably going to be changed anyway. Yeah, it's probably going to be changed anyway. But for me, I would lean towards putting more output, because try to leave the food where it is for as long as possible. But again, it's person dependent. Maybe they can't do. You don't want to be pushing too much output too soon, because you're going to get to a point where if it's a busy individual and they can't commit to too much cardio, you're going to have to start playing with food. But if it was going to be one, I'd say output. But again, it can be a mix of both.
Yeah. I think my general go-to there for a guy is slight because that, like you said, the PED setup is likely predetermined by that point anyway. You know where you're starting, and you know kind of the route that you're going to take in terms of creeping things up across the prep and when you're going to play certain tools. But I think for most guys, I'd go with an adjustment in calories and then just a slight increase in expenditure, and most likely, like, peak off season, they're probably not even moving that much anyway, so it might not even be cardio. It might just be like, do 2,000 more steps a day. Because like you take a bodybuilder like Greg Taylor, the Scottish guy. He's called Titan something on
Scottish Titan.
Scottish Titan. He's an absolute mutant, but this guy is like, we've held 302 between like 295 and 300 for the last 3 months now. So his body's like recomped at that set point really nicely to finish the off season. And we adjusted. It's like we're now at a point where it's like we either try and hold on to that for a longer window of time and risk becoming unproductive, or we just make a move now and start creeping things down and getting his body a little bit happier, being lighter. And it's gonna aid performance not being that heavy as well. But we made like a really small calorie adjustment, and we just standardized his steps at like, I'm pretty sure it was like 4,000 a day. It was either 4,000 or 5,000 a day. Like it was super low. And he's like dropped every day since we made the adjustment, just because his body is so accustomed to just being in that homeostatic set point for so long that even if you do a 10-minute walk extra daily, 7 days a week, you're going to get some level of response. So, you know, being like we said before, be at the start point of a prep where, like Ross said, I can make a small adjustment and I see a response straight away. Like that's the point that you want to be physiologically before you start that phase. And then you can be in a position where it's fucking ideal, where it's like I can make the smallest change to one meal and it's like bang, the next day I can see the change in the look, or I can make one adjustment to output for the week and it's like, well, there's the 2 pound drop we've just done from adding in 1,000 more steps a day. It's just that ultra responsive state that's going to lead to an efficient prep.
I think on the flip side of that, you've got about making changes when someone's transitioning into a pre-comp prep. And that is like you're on about making small changes there and seeing a whether body composition will change straight away. But you've also got those that you can have peak off season, fucking calories are super high, output's really low, and the food, like I said, the food is really high, and their body weight's not moving. They're cruising along, and all of a sudden you go into prep. And like you said, sometimes you make those small changes where you think you'd need to make small changes, and then you wouldn't really see anything. I've noticed with some you have to make quite big changes, like at the start, to start seeing actual fat loss, actual fucking progress with physique. I don't think it's always a case of just making small changes. I think sometimes you do have to make big changes. I think people are scared of doing that sometimes. But
you got to do what you got to do. Don't you? Like it depends on what time you're doing it. Obviously, in an ideal world, you want to make a minor change, big result. In an ideal world,
in an ideal world, yeah.
I think you have to kind of look at it. Like I think everyone wants to try to find the golden egg of adjustments and the perfect routine of adjustments that you made along the prep. But like big adjustments, small adjustments, good things happen and bad things happen. They're just like jigsaw pieces you're just putting into the prep. They're all going to go somewhere and they're all going to happen eventually. So it's just like just understanding which one you're going to do and when it's going to crop up.
That's where the value of those where the value of those maintenance type phases come in. Like Zach said, like sometimes you will need to make a slightly larger change, and that's where like 4 to 8 weeks before someone starts prep, like I'll take them off those peak off-season calories and get them closer to where I need them. And then it's like, because you do get, we've all been there before, where it's like you have a female client at the end of an off-season eating like 3,400 calories, and like you make 4 weeks of adjustments and 0 changes happen. You're like, what the fuck is going on? It's like, because the metabolic distance they've got to cover for them to actually lose any body fat is huge. And it's like, right, I've now got them on 24 and they're starting to drop. That's 1,000 calories. That could be 4, 5, 6 weeks of prep. So get them down to that, get them down closer to that set point, before they even start the process. And that comes with experience. And that also comes with knowing the client. Like if you've prepped someone 3 times, you know them like the back of your hand. Whereas if it's the first prep, some of that is, some of that's kind of informed guesswork at the start.
Yeah, absolutely. Sure.
On the topic of prepping, obviously we've got a seminar coming up. This will be first time we've actually spoken about it, to be fair. Everyone talks about wanting UK education and wanting more stuff propped on across the year. So we are, what's the date? It's the 7th of May?
7th of May. 7th of May.
Sunday, 7th of May, which is the week before the Muscle Contest Ireland. First weekend in May, we are hosting a men's physique specialized seminar at Colville Gym in Colville.
Colville Gym, no, Premier Gym in Colville.
Premier Gym, sorry, in Colville. Rob's going to kill me for that. Premier Gym in Colville, which is like, how far is that away from Coventry? Like, it's close.
From Coventry, it's like fucking 35 minutes, 40 minutes. Again, from Leicester City Centre, it's about 25 minutes.
Yeah. Okay. So we're gonna have we've got a full facility to ourselves. We've got the gym for practical stuff in the PM. We've got a lecture hall for like whiteboard and screen presentations in the morning for a little bit of theory. But that's going to basically walk you through the ins and outs of how we're setting up an athlete, and it's specific to men's physique. Like we're having a tone there of everything we're relating to is relating back to men's physique as a division, because we want to do a couple across the year for different categories, which would be great. But it's kind of opportunity for us to do this first one, because I know the Ben Weider and the first 25th of March show is going to be stacked for this men's physique category as well. But kind of teaching the ins and outs of how we do it and our thought process there, and how we set up preps, now we navigate through those preps, now we navigate through off seasons for maximum progress. And it's something that we've had a lot of success with in 2022 competitively. We've got a lot of really high level men's physique athletes in the UK and further afield, most of which are probably going to be there. And yeah, I think it'll be an awesome day.
It's going to be.
That's going to be good.
I don't think anyone's done this in the UK, have they?
I don't think this for specific to men's physique. No.
Yeah, even if they did, not at the level that we're going to go do it within the
and it's also as well, like obviously other than obviously all the educational stuff with your PEDs, your peaking, and you know, like I said earlier on, mapping your whole year out. But it's also going to be a lot of posing. Like
we've got 2 hours on that.
You know, how you should be going for each individual. Everyone who turns up, you know, will go through our opinion on how and why you should be setting up your training split, your training plan to favour their physique to do better in the men's physique division. Because, you know, it's not just about what everyone says, long clavicle and fucking small waist. Like, it isn't just about that. It's about each individual looking at their physique and going, right, what does this specific physique need to do well in that men's physique division? And it is literally different for each physique. Like I said, you know, not all of us have got small waist, but there's guys that haven't got small waist still on the Olympia stage.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So yeah, that would be a quite a cool element to it.
Yeah, that's the thing, though, isn't it? Like, even amateur and pro level, like it's not one shape fits all, because even if you look at the Olympia or the guys that are winning the pro qualifiers, like you have a multitude of different physiques there doing well.
They're all fucking different, man. They're all fucking different. It's just that the way that fucking physique is molded together is what they want for that physique and men's physique.
Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, I'll read out the content. So basically we've got AM theory, so federation selection, how to pick your shows or how to pick your season shows, building your competitive timeline, running through a full needs analysis for a men's physique athletes from the waist up, and looking at even to be fair, comments on the legs as well in terms of how that impacts proportions. But you know, needs analysis and what we look at there with athletes coming on board, maximizing off-season progress, training programming considerations for the off-season, and prep, maximizing contest prep progress, athlete peaking, you know, going through a couple of different options there in terms of what we can do in the most risk-free and predictable format, and then also what we can do in a more shall we say high risk or higher skill set format, where we might maximize the response further, and when is that applicable in the first place. Generalized PED usage guidelines for men's physique, and then looking at, and Zach will particularly have a lot of experience in this, looking at like the whole concept of natural and non-natural nuances between athletes there. So obviously you've coached natural men's physique guys for a long time, Zach. I've only really had Jay McGee's, obviously, you know, one that I've been coaching for a while, but there hasn't been a hell of a lot of natural MP guys that I've coached. So that'll be a good insight there, is in terms of like the audience that is non-enhanced, getting some value from that too.
Yeah, absolutely. So as well, obviously, letting everyone know that's who it's affiliated with. We've got Chula, Gasp, Supplement Needs, obviously Premier Gym. Is there anyone else? I think that's it.
Josh is going to bring, so one of Mars is going to bring a little goodie bag and a voucher as well, which will be cool.
Yeah. We're going to have some custom designed Team ProCoach Chula shorts, which are going to be pretty fucking cool. But you'll have the choice to get some of them as well at a good price. Yeah,
we're going through that at the moment. They should be pretty sick, to be fair. They should be pretty sick. So yeah, that's 7th of May. We'll I think this will go out this weekend. So tickets will be live soon. We'll drop the landing pages in the ticket page in our bios, and any other questions, just drop them in the comments. But yeah, that's the first bit of education for the UK year coming up, which will be exciting, and then we'll just add to it from there. What else is there news wise?
That's loads of things going on. So the Arnold's is up soon. The US Arnold's, the proper Arnold's.
Yeah, US. That open is
that's fixing up, man. That's fixing up to better than the Olympia. Don't get what everyone says. It's the buzz around it is going to be absolutely sick.
Olympia round 2, but with Clarida this time.
Yeah, and Rami's doing it as well now again, and you got who else is doing it? Because loads of people jumped into it now.
Andrew Jack's doing it.
Andrew Jack. A few people jumping in. Obviously Nick is back in it. That's going to be so good.
That was like post Olympia. That was like it's Samson's to win. Nobody's beating him, and then like everyone just jumps on the bandwagon.
Do you think if Rami comes in 100%, like the best he can be, do you think he can win it? I think he can.
I think so.
I think he can.
I think so. He can. I think so.
I'm holding out. I'm not holding out. But I think that he could. It depends.
So the issues that you saw on stage at Olympia, how is that going to change in 12 weeks?
I don't know, to be honest with you. Like it's you hear all the time. It's like, is it this? Is it that? Is he freaking like people look at it as if somebody chopped off his erector? It's like, okay, there's something going on, but like if he can correct it, if it is something that's legitimately neurological, and he goes back to the same problems, there's no chance of him winning it. And then if it is that case, then I think Nick will win it.
I would love Samson to win it.
Yeah,
so if it was ideal world, I'd like Samson to win. I would, but I think Nick will. I think Nick is going to win it.
You got to give me a top 3.
Oh, okay. I'll write down.
Get thinking, Zach.
I'm fucking trying.
Bonak's in there as well, isn't he?
Who?
Bonak's doing it, yeah. Thing is, Clarida, pound for pound, is probably the one with like the most muscle density on stage.
Yeah, but he's not. I think it's the David and Goliath story. But I don't know if he can win it. He's so small, man. Like he's like.
But the thing is, he won that Legion show a couple of years ago against like Steve Kuklo, whatever his name is.
But this is Nick, Rami, fucking Samson. Like it's a whole different kind of fish.
You just give it your top 3 there.
Yeah, I think so.
I'm copying.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is hard.
This is very hard.
I'm just going to shoot with mine.
Go on.
Rami, Nick, and Samson.
I have Nick, Rami, Samson.
That's what I've gone. Rami, Nick, Samson.
No, you said something else.
Who wins?
Rami.
Rami wins. What about you, Ross?
I've gone back on myself and said that Nick is going to win.
Oh, for fuck's sake! Why can't you fucking stick to your guns?
Because I had a look at the list and I'm like, okay, I think it's going to win.
Ask him again in 5 minutes. He'll change his fucking mind again.
Nah, because now I'm thinking there's like, so we know Nick isn't like neurologically deformed at all. There's no rumors of that. Okay, there's rumors there's rumors of Rami having a couple of things going on. So if that's true, the likelihood of him or the odds of him go way down. You know. So Nick, Rami, Samson.
If Derek was there, do you think Derek would win?
1,000%. 1,000%.
Yeah. I'm actually shocked that he's not doing it.
Yeah.
What a close weight. I mean, what is it? 300,000?
300K. I think the news is his wife didn't want him to take the health risk, but I was like, "That's
fuck your wife."
Fucking divorce.
Get divorced. The fans will see it.
the CV Pro and just crack on, mate.
Yeah, exactly. Electrolytes will fix it.
I'm not doing it, babe. I'm not doing it, babe. I'm just going away for the weekend.
Yeah, it's good douche.
I've got Nick first.
Yeah.
Samson second.
Okay.
Clarida third. Andrew Jack fourth, and Rami fifth.
No, we'll do a top 5 then. Hold on there.
Because you got to remember, a lot of those issues around me were like, it was scar tissue based as well.
So I think I'll be questioning myself.
There's a lot. If he comes at 100%, again, he's crazy, but there's a lot to fix there in that short space of time.
I've got faith in him.
Andrew Jack's moved over to Chris Aceto.
Sorry about that. That's that I have for it.
That's going to be exciting.
That is going to be exciting. Right, Nick, Rami.
If we're going fourth and fifth, I'm going to add on Clarida and Andrew Jack.
Yeah, I did the same. Nick, Rami, Samson, Clarida, and Andrew.
Yeah. Okay.
I think Clarida standing beside Andrew Jack, that'll be the best thing in the world.
We'll all get it wrong. None of them will fucking come top 5.
Ah.
Who's winning then? Oh dear. Right. Okay. And then what was the? Who do you think is going to win the classic? It's obviously going to be like Ramon, Urs, and probably Mike for top 3, isn't it? Favorites anyway.
I need to see the lineup. Hang on.
Darwin's going to smoke them all.
ProCoach.
Let me have a look. Where's the list?
You probably find it on
Instagram now. Arnold's accounts.
That was one of the craziest things, was seeing how far ahead Bumstead was relative to Ramon.
He will win that until he decides to stop competing.
Absolutely
crazy.
It's absolutely outrageous.
It was nuts, mate.
Absolutely. Have you got the list up yet for the classic?
Yeah, I've got it.
Where is it? Can you send it me a minute?
It is, yeah. Oh, Alex Cabronera's doing it as well.
Oh, I like him. I like him a lot.
So we've got James Brown, Alex C. Neil Curry's not doing it now. Urs, that Kyrilo Kodeyev, which I'm sorry I've just butchered your name. Courage, who won the Texas. Ramon, Mike, Badass, the Colombian God, Darwin. And then Medi Laragina, which I'm pretty sure I haven't spelt, but I'm not sure if he's doing it or not, because I think there's only 7 guys. Maybe he's doing it.
Is Courage not doing it?
Courage is doing it, yeah.
Yeah, Courage is doing it.
And to be fair, he looks wild as well from that last update you sent.
I've seen his picture today.
He's impressive.
All right, I've got mine already. Top 5.
Go
on. Ramon, Urs, Mike, Alex, Darwin.
Who wins though?
Ramon.
Yeah.
Only if he's 100% though. If he's anyway off, Urs will beat him straight away.
Do you think though?
Yeah, if he's off, if he's in any way off, yeah.
Because Ramon, like Urs, was obviously inside out peeled.
Yeah,
and it looks insane. But I still think I might be wrong, but I still think the size gap between third, second, and first is like second and first. There's quite a big chunk there that's left to be closed. Like shape wise, I actually prefer Urs over maybe both of them, because like shape wise, he's built. It's like flawless. It's insane.
Yeah.
I fucking love Mike Summerfield,
and Mike's insane as well. Yeah, like condition.
Yeah, Mike's great.
Oh mate, it's fucking insane.
Yeah, that front lat spread.
It's arguably the best front lat spread on the planet, man.
Deadly.
Yeah. Obviously Neil's not doing it because he's gone to open now.
It's wild, man.
Who's going to win the bikini?
Interesting to see though. It's going to be interesting to see in the open.
Do you know any of the bikini competitors, Ross?
I do. They're all doing it. Ramina, Marine, Laurie, Jennifer, Ivana, Alicia. They're all doing it. Phoebe's doing it.
Is it Olympia round 2?
It's pretty much an Olympia round too, because that's what they'll do in bikini, because they compete so often, most of them. And it's quite common for them to do then the Arnold straight afterwards. I think 100% Jennifer Dory will beat Maureen. And then I think if Laurie can come in better than she did, because she was really off at the Olympia. I know a lot of people saying she was pretty off. I think she could get in that top three as well. I think it'll be probably Jen, Maureen, and Laurie in the top three. And I actually think Phoebe will get top five. Top seven and top seven in the Olympia, you know.
Phoebe's absolutely killing it.
Yeah, she is. She's doing really well. She represented everyone really, really well.
Crazy.
Whoever Ross said top five, I'm doing the same.
Yeah.
Not a fucking clue.
Yeah, I think Phoebe will definitely be within that. Well, she'd probably be pushing that 4 and 3, if anything.
Yeah.
She'd be well within that top 5.
Yeah, you have Ashley, who'll like just place because she's Ashley, you know. So, not that sounds terrible. Yeah, just because who she is. Obviously, she'll look good enough to place. She's like the neutral, perfect bikini athlete. But I'd say you're going to have that usual kind of top 5, and it just moves. Top 5 bikini just moves around. You know, because that's the cool. That's why I like bikinis. It's one of the reasons why I genuinely do love bikinis, because the ability to close the gap on where you were and the level of kind of uptake that you can move along the place. You could come fucking under 12th in the Olympia, and if you come in good, you could be in that top 4, top 3 before you even realize. You know, in most shows, I just love the way they can close the skill gap when you're good. The gap is just so minimal.
You see that in the NPC though as well. Like you see that week to week, you see it a lot.
Yeah, you see people come back infinitely better than they were the last time. It's class. I love it.
Look at perfect example from last year, Phoebe. Good win.
Yeah, exactly.
Absolutely.
Exactly.
Didn't even get first call out of the Arnold, and then won a pro card however many weeks later in Spain. Probably a harder show.
No, significantly harder.
Yeah.
That was impressive.
Yeah.
Most people did that. Yeah,
I've never seen a grown man, inhumanly sized grown man, cry for so long as well.
Yeah, oh man, he's just a big man.
They actually put out like bad weather warnings when he started, like when it started flowing out. They're like, have to shut down the city.
Oh, he's just a big man, baby, isn't he? He's deadly. I met him the other day. He was up training with Oscar in Apple.
Yeah, he's a good guy.
Yeah, he's a great dude. He's a great dude.
He's a good guy. Right, that's the Arnold breakdown. We've done Ben Weider. We've done. It's Kingdom Classic, isn't it? The 25th of March.
Hang on a minute. Stop.
Go on.
Arnold's men's physique.
Oh, sorry.
What is Aaron Banks doing it?
Yes.
Yeah, he's gone top 1. Yeah, he's top 1 and top 10. He's the whole way through. He's from first to second, third, fourth.
He's already won.
Yeah, he is top 10. He is
obviously going to win that show. Yes.
Yeah, I'm looking at it now, and I don't recognize anyone's name except him. Aaron Banks, Vitor Chavez, Carlos De Valera. That's not De Valera.
Diego Montenegro is the one who came third at the Arnold.
Oh, okay, sweet. Okay, cool. Yes, I see his name. That Youssef Judy guy, I think, did he compete in Spain?
He's done loads of shows.
Because he know we were in Spain, Cal, the last time.
I don't think Ali's not doing it anymore, is he?
He's not on the list. He's not on the list, and that was out. That was last week. This list was.
I can't see Aaron losing that.
No, it's not to any of them.
I'm not sure about figure and fitness. I haven't seen the list.
Did not they removed figure in women's bodybuilding, did they not?
Oh, did they remove it completely?
Yeah, they're gone. Most of the women's divisions are gone. There's women's fitness and then bikini and wellness, and that's it.
Okay.
All of the way, there's no other women's divisions.
They've just put all the prize money into open. Arnold's like, I cannot afford it anymore. Right. That sound. Anything else we need to cover for this week for episode 1? We're going to call it. What's the first episode of a TV program called? It's called a pilot episode, isn't it?
Yes.
Yeah, we're going to call it the episode 1's just going to be called pilot. And if we get cancelled after this first episode, then this will be the last one. Yeah. Yeah.
Sweet. Pilot and brackets possible finale.
Possible end.
Yeah.
Oh dear.
We should be back.
Any other news from your side before we wrap this up? Zach, for the viewers on the video, just turn on your fireplace, will you, mate? For a long period of time, I actually thought this was a real fireplace in Zach's office, but little did he tell me it was actually a TV.
Yeah. We thought Zach had a fireplace in his little man cave. Like, this is cool.
Fucking cabin.
Yeah, we didn't know it was a cabin. As far as I'm concerned, you could be in like some kind of loft, surrounded by rugs and expensive wine.
I'm a fireplace. I'd love to turn it on, but it's now broke.
He's no logs. He's no logs.
Run out of logs.
Yeah.
It is.
For the people listening on audio, I just apologise for this.
Yeah.
There we go.
Okay, look
That
at
that to me looks very realistic.
It does. I think it's because it's the reflection of the window. It looks like it's coming from inside. It looks like the top room of your fucking house is on fire.
My house is on fire in the back.
Yeah. Your missus just calling you going, Zach, 1 second, love.
Oh god!
I think that's Danielle.
I can see fucking Frankie with his hand out.
Blue lights in the background.
Yeah, so smoking a cigarette. Oh man, that's so
news from you, Ross? I've seen you've just moved into a very, very swanky new apartment block.
I did. So I'm delighted with it now. It was literally only a couple of 100 meters from the other place. But,
how many times have you gone swimming in that pool?
Well, I can't swim. So I've gone walking in what I can put my feet down on. I was fucking prick. He knew the answer to that question. No, I can't swim. Like I said before, if I was meant to swim, I'd have gills. So if I can touch the floor, I'm good. And the sea, forget about it. I'm not getting in the sea. Just fish. You stay there, and I'll stay up here. And we'll keep it civil. Nah, it's really cool. Oh man, like it's really well kitted out. I'm up mad high. I'm on the 24th floor, and there's like this big open kind of plan view of Annie the whole way through, which is class. And then there's like a swimming pool and like a gym and a nice gym. It's a good gym as well, and like a spa, and sauna, and steam room and stuff. So that's cool, and big working space. It's cool. There's like 8 or 9 of us that already live here, like some of the boys that I know from back home. So it's cool. It's nice as well because like it's a bit more cozy as well. The house was a bit secluded almost.
The word on the streets is you've actually created a new quarter in Ireland that's now not the northern quarter, it's just the Ireland quarter.
Yeah, yeah. There's just loads of people here growing potatoes and drinking Guinness. No, there's plenty of us in here already.
Is the dog got over the vertigo yet from being like 100 feet up?
He's out taking a shite on the balcony this morning. He's grand.
He's all right.
No bother on him. Yeah, he's sound. He is. When we came in, right, so there's like when you came to the balcony, it's thank God nobody in this building is going to listen to this podcast, and hopefully not the one below me. The balcony is like a gridded floor. You know? Yeah, it's like there's some dude downstairs watching it right now. It's like gridded floor on the balcony, so it's not like concrete or anything. So immediately we didn't really think about it. We didn't look down when we put the dog in the balcony. So the dog just starts pissing, but his piss is just like leaking down into the balcony below. So I was sitting there, I was like, oh no. Imagine someone like having a coffee in the morning and it's just having the dog happy as ever. No, I have to get into like fake grass and like cutting it around so you can just go there. It was wild for a few days. Nah, it's good though, man. I'm delighted now. I've got all the boys. Like I'm mostly prepping for the lads who live here this year as well.
Yeah.
So it's just cool to be able to keep an eye on them in person then. So you just go up, check in the morning and go about their business.
Yeah. It's like being in the travel lodge in Maidenhead every single night.
Yeah. Exactly. The room looks about the same as well.
Yeah.
That's good.
I think that's more or less it.
Yeah. Hey, Coops
is in. Coops has woken up. Right then, so that's episode 1 done. The seminar stuff will be going live around the same time that this is released. So if you're interested in finding out more, head on to our Instagram pages, scroll down, and you'll see ProCoach Men's Physique Seminar there at some point. Thanks for listening. We're going to try and bang these out weekly, and it will be in audio form, Spotify, iTunes, SoundCloud, although I'm pretty sure nobody uses SoundCloud anymore. I just use it to upload the podcast. And then video will be housed on YouTube, and that's pretty much it.
Yeah, I think every now and again we're going to go and film in like studios and stuff when we can get the time, when we can all be together. Yeah. We're going to go and make sure we film in studios and get a little bit more interactive with guests and stuff. But hopefully, a week.
I think Tom's going to come on. Tom's going to come on next week, so that'll be a 4 then, which would be cool.
That'll be good. That'll be enjoyable. Awesome, man.
Sweet. That's a wrap. Thanks for watching episode 1, and we'll speak to you soon.
Peace and love.
Peace.